Locking in.
Well, this is our first Sandman of Terra video, actually. So, hey
Okay.
guys, if you guys haven't checked out Sandman of Terra, make sure to check him out.
Sorry to hear that, Ryan.
Aw. Sorry,
Oh,
bud.
unfortunate, man.
A lot of lore.
There's a lot of lore. There we go. All right, Ronald, we get to an SCP right after this one. Good. We need to catch up more lore.
Yes, we do.
do. All right. So, well, wasting you guys' time anymore. Let's get straight into this video.
Finally,
Okay.
vengeance was Angron's, the demon primarch of the World Eaters. 10,000 years ago, at the Battle of the Eternity Gate, Sanguinius had ripped the butcher's nails out of his brother's head and sent the demon primarch of Khorne screaming back to the war. But now Sanguinius, the great angel, was long gone, and Angron, the red angel, stood atop the tower of the Warpforge Palace and over his brother's mightiest son, Commander Dante, the chapter master of the Blood Angels.
Man, Helmet look wild.
Defenseless. The Blood Angels had come to the aid of the Dark Angels as they stood battered against the Chaos forces on the corrupted ruins of Caliban. Yet, the sons of Sanguinius had done little to actually slow down Angron. The corporeal form of the Lord of the Red Sands healed the minor damage that they had done to him. Azrael, Supreme Grand Master of the Dark Angels, could see Angron and Dante from afar, and he grieved that this mighty champion of the Imperium would perish to save his chapter. The normally deadly and accurate shots of the Dark Angels had in truth done little but temporarily distract the demon primarch of Khorne. Corvus Corax of the Raven Guard had
quick.
that only Sanguinius and Horus would have been able to best Angron.
Horus is massive, though.
But they were both long.
Yeah.
The Emperor's brightest and darkest sons.
Oh my god, so massive armor.
I know.
A shadowy mist rose and coiled around Dante and the Blood God's Red Angel. For the Emperor still has an angel of his own, and this one is a Dark Angel. Angron,
yes, sir.
Horus, Corvus, Guilliman.
Oh my god.
Sons of the Emperor, all primarchs, all blessed with his gifts. But one primarch was created first, and he is said to be the template from which all of his brothers were made.
Horus?
And only he was regarded by the Emperor of mankind as his firstborn son. Lion L. Johnson stepped from the mist. A demigod knight,
Lionel Johnson,
blade and glinting shield, as in the tales of old Earth. He had returned to the remains of his homeworld in his son's darkest hour. He had fought with the Blood Angels many times and served with their father during the heresy. Dante would not die today. The monster slayer of Caliban was here before a beast.
Let's go.
Slaying. Azrael had never seen his gene-father in the flesh, but when he saw the lion, he fell to one knee. Deep within his blood,
that's a bad look. That's a cool looking armor.
For upon seeing him, they bellowed new oaths. Some of these words came from a deep place they knew where not, but in an instant, they were certain that they would fight and die for this man. The bone-colored Terminator armor was covered in blood and demonic ichor from the battle, but now it shone true, bright, and terrifying as the death. Lion L. Johnson stood, and he was not alone.
Well, looks like a badass, though.
Black-armored risen,
he does.
Out of time, forgiven and with new oaths to fight for.
Hey, I mistaken for a Dreadnought class. How big he is.
Angron
holy.
But in his broken mind, he saw just another skull for the throne. He howled and struck at the lion. Despite his age, the supernatural instincts of the Lord of the First were keen, for the Emperor made his sons functionally immortal. He deflected and parried the blows. L. Johnson was the master of mankind's double-edged sword. Seizing the opportunity, the Risen struck, but Angron swept them aside with Samniarius and Spinegrinder. The lion bid retreat, for this fight was his. He then
I didn't know Angron became that.
Yeah.
Dante to be extracted.
Oh, I don't recall.
Azrael watched in awe.
I don't think we learned that much about that, so especially
Yeah.
I know. I didn't know Angron.
I think this is the first time.
yeah. So this is actually going pretty quick. So like the lore.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
I
information.
mean, this is the lore dumping on us. I mean, we probably have to watch the video like 2 times, honestly, to like fully
know
grasp
what's going on.
everything. Until
Yeah.
then, we're enjoying ourselves. Let's continue.
Desperate to aid his lord. But for a second, the lion's eyes locked with his son's. This hit Azrael like a physical blow. There were no words that needed to.
There's only one emperor, and that's the God Emperor of mankind. Yeah, there's only one emperor. One emperor made all of his children, all 20 children,
Yeah,
which are the
All 20.
primarchs, and those
He got busy.
he did get busy.
he made them.
No, he still was busy.
He was busy.
Oh, I guess you're
He
right.
was busy.
No, he was.
Yeah, he handcrafted each of his sons, and each of those sons have their own sons, which are his army, which are also the Space Marine legions. So yeah, there's only one emperor, and then there's the Chaos faction, which is like 5 Chaos gods. Yeah, that's the brief summary.
That makes sense.
Yeah, if you want, yeah, that's it.
To be uttered. Azrael knew his orders. The Supreme Grandmaster turned back to the World Eaters. The arrival of the Firstborn incensed the Chaos forces somewhere in the outer darkness for being spied on a new threat to their power. The Lion's ploy to draw Angron away succeeded. He vanished from the tower, and Angron roared in pursuit. But Dante and his remaining guards still lay.
Dante looked
Angels
wild, though.
spent trying to save their darker cousins. Azrael could not let this stand, and a blood debt was owed, and bellowed the words that so many had come to fear across the galaxy. But now they carried new meaning. For the lion!
For the lion! For the lion!
Of the Deathwing joined him, and soon the Warpforged Palace echoed with the sounds of their cry, for the lion and the Emperor. With Commander Dante secure and the
True.
remaining Blood Angels and Dark Angels heading towards
Inquisition will get you.
the lion was free to focus on his fallen brother. On New Seria, under the torture of the Butcher's nails, Angron gained the
Oh, wow, he looks
savagery
mean.
that had developed
Yeah.
through the ages. But the lion's homeworld had developed him too,
Mm.
for he grew up combating wild and warp-tainted beasts. His brother was just one in a long line of monsters. Angron may have disgusted the Lord of Caliban, but that did not mean El Johnson would underestimate this threat.
Casual
After
heresy.
his dark apotheosis, Angron's blows were enough to crumble Imperial knights, but the lion wielded the Emperor's shield, and it took the blows, the shockwaves driving Angron back. Grateful for the shield and the blessings of his father, for an instant the lion's mind drifted back to a conversation he'd had with the Emperor.
I bow to no one. Miles is a part of the Chaos faction now.
Oh, no.
That's crazy, bro.
He's the next. He's the next
The
Horus.
Inquisition's gonna come after
Oh my
you.
god!
Oh,
The next horse is crazy.
imagine to rise to power and start fighting the God Emperor. Miles is the next major power. Miles is gonna take the series to 50K. That's
Oh my God.
crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Main
truly.
antagonist of 50K.
Yeah, he's being forged
Oh my
right now. Holy, I'm terrified.
Rabute raises an Imperium in miniature that celebrates his name and yours. I have left as many worlds behind me as any 2 of my brothers, but I fear that darkness and ash will be the legacy I leave to your Imperium. The Emperor considered long, as he often did.
Oh, the God Emperor right there.
In
He
the
big.
line
You're gonna
that
fight
he
against him,
led,
Miles.
There was an empress.
Look at those
named
tiny people at his
Ashes.
kneecaps.
By all accounts of her that
Those are the
survived,
custodes.
she was an equitable and proficient ruler by the standards of her time. She rebuilt her land in the wake of war and occupation, erecting great monuments and bringing prosperity to her people. She reassembled the Aegypt's navy, using it to re-establish their old empire, and launched military campaigns against the nations who had once been their oppressors. A legacy whose parallels are not hard to see. And yet, those who came after her did all within their power to ensure that she would have no legacy. Her name was chiseled from every monument, her every deed and triumph stricken from public record.
What?
Even her body was removed from its
Okay, that's kind of scummy.
That's odd.
if her reign was so equitable, because those who succeeded her desired it, because sometimes what comes before is too troublesome to be paved over in rockcrete, to amend with a monument to compliance or a golden aquila on an imperial flag. Sometimes it is enough only that it be destroyed, that no trace of it but darkness and ash be left to endure. And yet, history still remembers this empress.
Good. Okay. Custodes.
The Emperor Thutmose III did not have his Dark Angels. And here he was, 10 millennia later.
There he is.
Lion L. Johnson, the Emperor's exterminator. But he was so much more now. He was the protector of Imperium Nihilus. The Emperor gave the Lion the pomp and laurels demanded by his brothers, because he knew, as did the Lion, that loyalty is its own reward.
I'm right.
Fought their way across
Look how big these demons are.
Jesus.
Machineries pounded and jets of white-hot flame erupted from hidden apertures. Angron's blows had felled many of the Lion's gene sons, but now L. Johnson's new blade fealty parried them, or they hammered into the Emperor's shield, and the Red Angel would be forced back again. The Lion sought to put space between them to give him time to enact his plan. He utilized the terrain, but Angron would just barrel through it, brimming with rage. L. Johnson headed down
demon primarch right there.
Angron had taken to the skies, utilizing the hellish gifts from his patron god. Angron grasped the stairway superstructure and then wrenched the entire edifice away from the side of the mechanical plateau. The Lion leapt clear as the structure collapsed under its own weight.
The whole battle's...
Wow! Sense of familiarity. He recognized the architectural style of his homeworld. Angron swooped down and engaged his brother again. The Lion could not break concentration now, even for a second, as the demonic strength could easily split him into two.
I'm playing Dark Souls right now.
As a bloody paste on the ground. Somewhere in his adult mind, the gladiator Primarch of Khorne still had his martial competency. He was enhanced by dark powers and was eternally driven by the butcher's nails, which dealt white-hot agony to spur him on. Eventually, the 12th found his opening, and with one kick, he cracked the First's armor and sent L. Johnson through a statue and onto a rooftop behind. The
cracked his armor
away to avoid the chain spine grinder, and it took him off the roof, down onto a metal platform 30 feet below. The Lion took in these new surroundings almost instantly, which was fortunate as Angron descended. The Lion was prepared, and Angron crashed upon the Emperor's shield and was held back by an explosion of golden energy.
Rolled
Quickly
him.
on his
Okay.
feet,
I know, right?
Angron grabbed a nearby World Eater's Predator tank and launched it at the Primarch of the
Just launched that.
The Lion dodged it easily enough. However, the second tank Angron threw was a gorgeous Dark Angel's green impulsor, which the Lion was not quick enough to avoid. It smashed into the Lord of Caliban and took him through the stonework behind. The Lion righted himself and climbed atop the impromptu missile.
Come on,
Angron
Lion.
dove at his brother again. The Lion dove aside and managed to hammer his father's shield into the back of the Red Angel's head for good measure. Angron was sent into a ruin and was buried beneath its collapse.
I'm right.
The Lion knew his brother was down but not out. Sure enough, the demon Primarch burst forth from the rubble heap. The hate in his eyes was unmatched by anything that L. Johnson had seen, and he attacked in a blur. The Lion barely got the shield up to save himself. This time the energy sent the Lion hurtling back also.
There is a struggle, power struggle faster.
Angron descended like a meteor. The Lion was hurt, but he couldn't help but smile, as he was now in the perfect place to enact his strategy. You see, during the heresy, the Lion had led the hunt for his brother, Conrad Kurz the Night Haunter. The Lion had learned from one of the best, the deadliness of striking from the shadows. He disappeared into the smog, and Angron's frustrations grew, and he was appalled at this trickery. He had used his advantage of flight against the lion. Now it was his brother's turn to demonstrate his gifts.
Oh, hell
The
yeah.
smog eclipsed Angron's
But
demonic
there's a-
senses,
okay.
and he was forced to swipe wildly at where he thought the lion would be. As his weapons passed through nothing but smog, the lion pounced. He drove the Emperor's
man.
shield into his brother's side. Angron was thrust into the air, but as he turned, the lion vanished once again. The Lord of Caliban
Damn.
felt as if he was back on his homeworld of old, hunting monsters in the misty forests. Again and again he struck, and Angron's blows found only empty space or occasionally the Emperor's shield. As Angron's fury reached new levels, the lion waited for his chance. But finally, Angron caught sight of his brother. A piston discharging steam had blasted aside the veil of smog. Angron beat his wings and hurled himself at the lion. He swung his weapons to decapitate his brother.
Oh.
Yet, this time the lion made no effort to defend. With blistering speed, he instead dropped to one knee, braced his blade with his whole body, and let Angron slam straight into its raised point. The demon primarch's own impetus drove the glowing blade up through his torso until it erupted from the nape of his neck in a mountain of
Oh
gore.
snap!
The force took
Okay.
the lion over
Jeez.
with it, and when they landed, the blade fealty had pierced Angron's wing and pinned him. Angron desperately thrashed and howled, but above him was the Monster Slayer, the true lord of this wretched place.
The
battle
Monster
had
Slayer.
taken its toll on the aged Primarch. Now he would finish it. He gripped the Emperor's shield with both hands and raised it above Angron's head. So many of his sons had died today fighting the Red Angel. The lion knew his purpose now. He had failed his father. He may have also failed his brothers.
Yeah.
He will not fail his sons. The shield
Exactly.
came down.
Damn.
Angron was banished.
That look heat. Is that?
The
Let's
lion
Is that a
go!
went to
figure?
The extraction site, tuning into the
Might
Dark
be.
Angel's command channel for the first time in 10,000 years. When he had looked at the lion, Azrael had made a silent oath that he would get Commander Dante to safety. He had done his duty, the first of many oaths he and the rest of the Sons of the Lion would make for their lord, for there is much work to do. So
Wow.
Lion L. Johnson has returned. If you enjoyed this
Let's
video,
go,
please
dude.
do
That was
consider
pretty
supporting
quick.
the channel through the join button
That was
on the page
really
below.
That was really
quick.
That was a
good.
good one. Holy.
Dude, the lion is awesome.
The lion was.
Dude, I didn't know. Dude, Angron. Yeah, okay. So 8 of them are,
9.
evil,
Nine.
right?
9 and 9.
9.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 8 and 8.
Look down. Look down 2 messages. But Brian? Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, so it's 9 and 9.
9.
Ooh.
Wow, man.
That was pretty nasty though. Holy.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, when he was saying like he was blocking the fury of attacks, because he has 2 weapons. He has an axe and a sword. Man was just,
Yeah, line model on
I was just
tabletop.
blocking
also,
all that.
Joy Toy has
Dude,
a
that's
figure
the
of him.
model on
Ooh.
tabletop. Oh my god.
That's crazy.
Those models are awesome,
Dude,
dude.
every
I love
dude, we
it.
were looking at figures the other day.
Yeah.
The last reaction stream at the end too. That looks so good, man.
Oh yeah, from the Joy Toy
Yeah,
site?
Joy Toy, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, those were sick,
One of the
dude.
viewers got your friend got a figure for him the next day too. I was hyped.
Oh my god.
I was
Alright,
hyped,
cool.
dude.
Dude, honestly, dude, I want to buy some of those, bro. Dude, they look so cool.
They look cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, they're not too expensive as one would think. Granted, they're not like
Ooh.
12 inches tall, right? They're like
Hmm.
7 inches, 6 inches tall.
But that's awesome,
Yeah.
dude. They're awesome.
Like some range from like 40, 60, obviously all the way up to like 250, right? That's just how it goes with figures.
Well, yeah. Makes sense.
Jojo has Rogel, Dorn too. Okay. Yeah, Joy Toy looked cool. Oh, real good. That was a good one. Hey, Sandman of Terra. Now we have
Check him
we have
out,
another one
Uh,
that we could watch now.
Yeah, what?
Dude, that's crazy. that somebody said Angron's greatest achievement that I know of is he split a planet in half with a planet-sized sword.
Holy,
That's
dude,
insane.
Striker, really?
A whole planet in
Was
half, dude.
It could have been Pluto.
It's still a big sword. He has to split.
Ain't,
Guys, also, Pluto's not a planet.
dude, ain't no way there's a sword as big as a planet though. That's crazy.